And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the heart of the Inland Empire, right here in sunny Southern California, it's Robert Cardoza Live, where we talk about politics, money, and you. This is the intersection of business and politics. And now here's your host, Robert Cardoza. And welcome aboard. I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to the intersection of business and politics right here on Robert Cardoza Live, where I do an honest, unbiased analysis of the issues confronting you today that affect the decisions that you're going to make for both your personal and your business life. I come to you every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time on Spreaker Radio, Blog Talk Radio, MyCast Live Radio, and countless terrestrial stations worldwide. I also broadcast on Roar 1776 Radio and on Live 365 Radio every Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, and YouTube, where you can listen to all of my shows 24/7. Go to my website at www.robertcardozalive.com for archives of all my radio and television shows. You can also access my show live right from my website each day, simply by clicking on the little icon labeled Listen Live. Email me at robertcardozalive@gmail.com. That's where I get the emails I deal with here on the show. And you can call into my show if you want to comment or just engage me in conversation about anything. Call directly into the studio at 909-545-6516. Again, that number is 909-545-6516. On today's show, we're going to discuss what's in the news, new legislation, the IRS loses, and I'm going to answer your emails just like I always do. Today, my expert contributor is David Garrett on the law. He's going to be talking about current events and how the law applies to them. My special guest is Dr. Stephen Tidwell with his series, Tomorrow's Dentistry Today. But right now, I want you to know that at 4:02 p.m. Pacific Time, it is currently 96 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, that's down from 98 on its way to 64 degrees. And you know what? I mean, who knows what it's going to be? It's just been hot. That's what it's been. But you know what? What you want to talk about, what I want to talk about is the news. And so let's talk about what's going on in the news today. First off, Greek Prime Minister sets a referendum for July the 5th on a bailout deal with creditors. Yep, you heard that right. And so here's the deal. The Greek minister calls on a nation to reject a bailout deal. Greece's development minister is urging the nation to vote against the country's bailout deal with international creditors in a July 5th referendum. Panagiotis Lafazanis, boy, that's tough to say. It's like Greek to me, right? Says Greeks will answer with a resounding no in the vote. Lafazanis spoke early Saturday after an emergency cabinet meeting during which Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras announced his intention to call the referendum. You know what? Boy, Greece is in trouble. I mean, really in trouble. So if you start thinking about it, is Germany going to let them, the International Monetary Force, going to really allow these guys to go bankrupt? What's that going to do to the euro? Boy, I don't know. How about this? In today, Supreme Court declares nationwide right to same-sex marriage. Same-sex couples won the right to marry nationwide today as a divided Supreme Court handed a crowning victory to the gay rights movement, setting off a jubilant cascade of long-delayed weddings in states where they had been forbidden. No longer may this liberty be denied, said Justice Anthony Kennedy. The vote was narrow, 5-4, but Kennedy's majority opinion was clear and firm. Excuse me. The court now holds that same-sex couples may exercise the fundamental right to marry. The ruling will put an end to same-sex marriage bans in the 14 states that still maintain them and provide an exclamation point for breathtaking changes in the nation's social norms in recent years. As recently as last October, just over one-third of the states permitted gay marriages. Kennedy's reading of the ruling elicited tears in the courtroom, euphoria outside, and immediate issuance of marriage licenses to same-sex couples in at least 8 states. In Dallas, Kenneth Denson said he and Gabriel Mendez had been legally married in 2013 in California, but we're Texans. We want to get married in Texas. In praise of the decision, President Barack Obama called it justice that arrives like a thunderbolt. Boy, you can say that again, right? Well, the historic gay marriage ruling stirs emotion across the United States. Some snapshots of Americans reacting to today's Supreme Court ruling declaring that same-sex couples have a right to marry in all 50 states. In Texas, customers at a Dallas comic book store were confronted by a sign today warning that the business might open late because the owners were waiting at the courthouse to see if the Supreme Court is going to let us get married. Kenneth Denson, 38, and Gabriel Mendez, 33, have been together for 15 years. They had a non-binding commitment ceremony 10 years ago in Dallas, and they were legally married in 2013 in California, but they still wanted to do the same in Texas. We're Texans, Denson said. We want to get married in Texas. They were married this afternoon, giving each other a high five as the judge signed their marriage certificate. They plan to eat lunch and head back to work at the Red Pegasus Games Comics. Good for them. Congratulations, I should say. Well, the latest senator says at least one prison escapee was armed. The latest on the hunt for two inmates who escaped from a maximum security prison. And this is actually all times I'm going to give you now are going to be local times, and that would be Eastern time. So at 6:50 p.m., New York U.S. Senator Charles Schumer says at least one of the two killers who escaped from the upstate maximum security prison was armed when they were tackled or tracked by dogs, and one of them was actually killed. He says there was shooting heard in the woods. Richard Matt was killed today by a federal border patrol agent from Vermont. David Sweat is still on the loose. Police looking for Sweat are trucking floodlights into the heavily wooded areas in Malone where they believe he's hiding and where Matt was killed. The site is about 30 miles from the Clinton Correctional Facility in Dannemora where the inmates escaped June the 6th. Sweat was serving a sentence of life without parole in the killing of a sheriff's deputy. Matt was serving 25 years to life for the killing and dismembering of his former boss. Well, you know what? You're going to find this cruel, you're going to find this unusual, but as far as I'm concerned, neither one of those guys ought to leave the woods alive. Well, dozens are killed in attacks in Tunisia, Kuwait, and France. A young man pulled a Kalashnikov from a beach umbrella and sprayed gunfire at European sunbathers at a Tunisian resort, killing at least 37 people. One of three deadly attacks today from Europe to North Africa in the Middle East that followed a call to violence by Islamic State extremists. The shootings in the Tunisian resort of Sousse happened at about the same time as the bombing at the Shiite mosque in Kuwait and an attack on the U.S.-owned factory in France that included a beheading. It was unclear if the violence was linked, but it came days after the IS militants urged their followers to make Ramadan a month of calamities for the non-believers. In all, the assailants killed at least 65 people. What kind of world do we live in? Well, you know what? We're going to go on a commercial break. When we come back, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Obama delivering the unvarnished race lecture at a eulogy. We'll be right back after these brief messages. Don't go away. If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you. And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And we're talking news. That's what we're talking about. You know what? When we went off the air for this commercial break, I was telling you that we're going to come back and talk about Obama delivering an unvarnished race lecture at a eulogy. President Barack Obama used his eulogy for a slain pastor to deliver an unvarnished lecture on America's racial history today, and then boldly sang Amazing Grace, a spiritual mint to summon hope in the darkest of times. Obama also called for gun control and efforts to eliminate poverty and job discrimination, and said the Confederate battle flag, long a symbol of Southern pride, must be removed from places of honor. For many, black and white, that flag was a reminder of systemic oppression and racial subjugation. We see that now, he said. The president came to eulogize the Reverend Clementa Pinckney, a state senator whose church was founded by the leader of the failed slave revolt and burned to the ground by angry whites in 1822. After the Civil War, the Emmanuel African Methodist Episcopal Church led efforts to expand equal rights in the South, hosting Martin Luther King Jr. during campaigns in South Carolina. Pinckney himself came from a long line of preachers and protesters, and the 8 people slain beside him drew no distinctions between their work in church and their efforts to improve society, Obama said. We do not know whether the killer of Reverend Pinckney and 8 others knew all of this history, the president said, but he surely sensed the meaning of his violent act. It was an act that drew on a long history of bombs and arsons and shots fired at churches, not random, but as a means of control, a way to terrorize and oppress. Hear, hear. Well, I don't care what you think about President Obama, but that is the way it is, you know. Well, you know, I don't want to actually talk anymore about the funeral. Enough has been said. What else can a person say? Let's talk about the recovery crew reaches a site of deadly Alaska plane crash today. This came in just 4 minutes ago from Juneau, Alaska. A recovery crew today reached a remote site in southeast Alaska where a sightseeing plane crashed, killing 9 people aboard. Chris John of the Ketchikan Volunteer Rescue Squad said the aircraft was sitting at a steep angle and 3 members of his organization had to secure it so they could safely work to recover the bodies. 8 cruise ship passengers and the pilot died when the de Havilland C3 Otter turboprop jet went down Thursday in Misty Fjords National Monument near Ketchikan. The cause of the crash remained under investigation. The identities of those on the plane were being withheld while authorities worked to notify their families. Their remains will be taken to the State Medical Examiner's office in Anchorage, Alaska. The plane crashed off a cliff above a lake in steep, muddy, and slippery terrain, John said. Their fuselage was largely intact, but the wings and tail were separated or heavily deformed, he said. Well, you know what? Just a tragedy. It just seems like we endure one tragedy after another after another. Well, gay couples are celebrating after the Supreme Court ruling. Same-sex couples won the right to marry nationwide today as the divided Supreme Court handed a victory to the gay rights movement, setting off a jubilant cascade of weddings in states where they had been forbidden. The ruling, which will put an end to same-sex marriage bans in 14 states, was criticized by some religious organizations. And, it just seems that it's the way of the future. It's the way for things to go. Are you not going to evolve? I think maybe perhaps you are. It'll become a thing of the past. Well, 53 minutes ago, the artificial turf at the World Cup is still raising issues. The fields are heating up. There are little black rubber pellets everywhere, and feet are covered with blisters. The artificial turf at the Women's World Cup is taking a toll. Australian forward Michelle Heyman told reporters that when the temperature rises, the fields are like walking on hot coals. The use of artificial turf for this year's tournament in Canada has been a contentious issue since it was included in the nation's bid in 2011. The ball bounces and rolls differently on a plastic pitch, causing turf burns on players and making recovery times larger. The Men's World Cup has always been played on grass. Speedy U.S. forward Alex Morgan acknowledges she's got blisters on her toes. You know what? I'm sure that's not the only place she's got blisters. But, why can't... in the world today, with the society we have, with the technology we have, geez, don't you think we could do better? I think so. Well, 9 minutes ago, the Colorado GOP committee backs chair in blackmail scandal. The Colorado Republican Party's executive committee today voted overwhelmingly to support the party's chairman after he contended that the state attorney general and others tried to force him to resign his post by threatening to release details of an affair that he denies. Following a lengthy closed-door meeting, the committee voted 22-1 to support businessman Steve House, who just became the party chairman in March. Last week, House said 3 of his previous supporters, Attorney General Cynthia Kaufman, former Representative Tom Tancredo, and Pueblo County Republican Chair Becky Mizell, demanded he resign and threatened to spread word of the alleged affair. House has denied having an affair. He produced a recording of the woman who was his purported paramour, saying they were never intimate and she was being used to tarnish the chairman. You know what? Do you believe it? Where there's smoke, there's fire? Or in politics, is everybody and everything fair game? You know what? I hear so much going on, so much crud going on where there's no proof. People are just repeating what they heard or said somewhere else. Mm-hmm. It just doesn't it just kind of drive you nuts? It does me anyway. How about this? Many options, no single solution to the nation's traffic snarls. The problem's clear. Traffic congestion will become significantly worse and more widespread without changes in how people and products get around. Build more roads, build more public transit, rely on new technology. The possible solutions are many, but none is easy or cheap. A few ways to ease the nation's gridlock: public transit renaissance, or tolls are hot. They're a big thing. Or how about dumb cars meet smart cars? Self-driving cars. And in technology, we trust. Traffic smartphone apps such as Waze and suggest that most efficient route from A to B, adjusting along the way based on real-time speed and traffic information from other users. Dozens of transit agencies have apps that offer real-time travel information. Boston's public schools have experimented with an app that tracks how soon the school will arrive, so parents who don't want their kids to wait in the cold too long can time drop-offs rather than opting to drive all the way to school. Having said said that, do not go away. When we come back, we're going to talk about the IRS loses. The first case up is shares value are reduced by tax companies with the tax the company could owe. I'll tell you all about this right after these brief messages. Don't go away. Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
The story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And you know what? We're getting to my very favorite part of the show. That's the IRS loses. Sends chills up and down my spine. I don't know about you guys. But you know what? Our first case here, the IRS lost. Our shares value are reduced by the tax a company could owe. Let me tell you about it. Fraser Jelke died owning shares of CCC Incorporated, which owned appreciated securities. securities. To set the value of his shares, Jelke's estate subtracted the capital gains tax that CCC would owe on its investments if it sold them immediately from their value on the books. The IRS allowed no such deduction. The tax court allowed a smaller deduction computed using what it deemed a more realistic assumption that CCC's investments would be sold gradually over 16 years. The estate appealed, and this is what the Court of Appeals had to say. The tax court's 16-year assumption was arbitrary. It is more reasonable to value CCC at its current liquidation value after the tax gains. Makes sense to me. Makes sense to them. I love it when a plan comes together, and I especially love it when the IRS loses. Here's another case. A home designer may deduct equestrian expenses. Wait till you hear this. Tracy Topping was a noted amateur equestrian who started a design business that specialized in homes and horse barns. She marketed her services through equestrian contacts by owning horses, competing in events, and being a member of the Jockey Club. Now, here's the snag. The IRS said her equestrian activity was a hobby, not part of her business, and disallowed her deductions for more than $320,000 of its expenses. She went to court for some justice. This is what the judge actually had to say. The overall business was profitable, even accounting for the equestrian costs, and 90% of its customers were obtained through the equestrian contacts. So the equestrian costs were deductible as a marketing expense. You know what? Don't you just love it when the IRS loses? This is just so reasonable and just makes so much sense. Let me give you one more here. The IRS loses. Partners leave the partnership with no gains tax. Let me tell you about it. Two members of a partnership wanted to leave it for business reasons. So the partnership borrowed $11.9 million, bought notes issued by an issuer in that amount, and distributed the notes to those partners in liquidation of their interests in it. Next, the IRS said the partners had sold their interests and imposed gains tax. The partner said the notes weren't cash, therefore they had received a tax-free exchange of property. The IRS reply was that they had received notes instead of cash only as a tax avoidance ploy. They went to court. Here's what the judge said. The notes served a business purpose in letting the partners exchange one investment for another. That, the result, is tax favored? Well, you know what? That's permitted by law, and they get to do what they get to do. What they get to do. I guess that's what you're going to say, right? Well. You ever want to be a fly on the wall when the IRS is doing stupid things, which is all the time, by the way? Well, that's where we're at right now when we talk about inside the IRS. It's where the IRS has actually made a precedent. They've made some deals here that were kind of stupid, right? But let's talk about some of the things they're looking at. And right now, let's talk about using an offshore bank. A lot of people are interested in this. Individuals who want to maintain offshore bank accounts, the existence of which must be generally disclosed to the IRS annually, should keep in mind that the IRS can summons the bank to obtain copies of account holders' statements reflecting deposits and withdrawals. Now, there is an exception to this. If the offshore bank does not maintain an office in the United States, a motion to quash the summons should be successful. The IRS can enforce a summons in the United States District Court only if it can show that the summoned person or entity resides or is found in the court's geographical jurisdiction. So your best bet? Select an offshore bank with no branch office or business connection, such as an investment banking operation that's inside the United States. Well, you ever think about this? When you try to tell the IRS, heads I win, tails you lose? Sounds good, doesn't it? Well, the courts have held that taxpayers must be guided by a duty of consistency when it comes to taking tax possessions concerning the same economic matter at different times. Now, let me give you an example of that. The court determined in Conrad Janis that an estate could take one position with respect to the value of its assets when it suited the estate's tax purposes, in this case, using a lower discounted value for the gallery of artwork, and then take a contrary position when that suited the estate's purposes, and in this case, using a higher fair market value when the artwork was later sold by the beneficiary. Bottom line here, you cannot unfairly beat the IRS with its own rules and regulations. It's got to make common sense, guys. That's all I got to tell you. It's just got to make common sense. Now, do not go away, because when we come back, we're going to be with our own Dr. Stephen Tidwell and his series, Tomorrow's Dentistry Today. But before we do that, I want to make a special announcement. We're very excited and proud here at Robert Cardoza Live to announce our show is currently available live 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, on the following radio networks: Spreaker Radio, Blog Talk Radio, MyCast Live Radio, and countless terrestrial stations worldwide. In addition, our show can be heard live every Friday on the Roar 1776 and Live 365 radio networks from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time, and an archive show is on Saturday mornings from 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. Pacific Time. Yeah, I'll get you some sleeping pills if you're up for that doggone thing. You can also catch our show every Friday and Saturday on iHeartRadio, and if you've got a TiVo box, we're there too. All of our shows are accessible on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, and YouTube. You can also download our shows free of charge from the iTunes Store. We encourage you to follow us on all of these social networks. Currently, we're actively broadcasting in the following countries: the United States, Montenegro, Philippines, Canada, Greece, Germany, United Kingdom, Australia, Italy, France, Thailand, and Brazil, with many more coming soon. We're currently developing 2 Robert Cardoza Live apps that will allow you to download our show free of charge on iPhones and Android. This app will allow you to listen to any of our shows, either live or recorded, 24/7, worldwide, right from your computer, phone, tablet, and iPad. The easiest way to listen to our shows right now is to go to our website at robertcardozalive.com. Do I sound excited? You bet your sweet Bippy, I'm excited. This is good stuff, folks. You don't want to miss it. We just keep right on growing. Now, don't go away. We'll be right back with our own Dr. Stephen Tidwell and Tomorrow's Dentistry Today. If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this: the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, & Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, & Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you. And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:34 p.m. Pacific time, currently 96 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. It's on its way to 63 degrees, but you know what? He's waiting in the wings. He's waiting, and that's our own Dr. Stephen Tidwell to talk about tomorrow's dentistry today. Let's get him in here. So if you've ever wondered about what dentistry is today compared to what it was in yesteryear, this is the guy that can tell you. He's got a memory greater than mine. You know, most people got a memory greater than mine. But you know what? Let's bring him right on right now. Dr. Stephen Tidwell with Tomorrow's Dentistry Today. Hey, Steve, welcome aboard, my friend. Boy, it's good to have you here. You know what? My guess is that you were basking next to a pool someplace and next to some bikini-clad young lady who was asking you about if you could fix her teeth to look magnificent, right?
It's just another day at the office, Bob. We're like that every day. Before we get started, I just wanted to extend my congratulations to you and Marlene on 50 years of blissful marriage.
Hey, well,
my heartfelt congratulations.
Well, thank you so much. You know, one of the things, Marlene, I was asking her, Marlene, what would you really like to have? This is a momentous occasion. And she says, well, I'd like you to take me to some exotic, small place that's not, really inhabited too well. And I got in a little trouble because I suggested the kitchen.
Oh, you're good, Bob. You're good.
Actually, that's...
At this time of year, I thought you were going for Death Valley.
Boy, you can say that again. Are you sure that I'm not living in Death Valley? Because it's pretty doggone hot out there.
Oh, I'll tell you. Yeah, with that remark about the kitchen, I'm not surprised you're living in Death Valley.
I was going to get her some high-tech stuff to play with, but she hasn't seen a vacuum cleaner in a long time either, so...
Yeah, there you go. Well, I'll tell you, speaking of high tech, there's so much in dentistry that I just spent 2 hours Thursday night talking with another dentist, and he was bending my ear about stuff that I'd heard of and played with a little bit, but just hadn't thought about doing it all that way. But today I was gonna start off by talking a little bit about some of the misconceptions of dentistry.
Oh, that's a great idea.
I ran into a patient just yesterday, and we were talking here in the office, and she was going, oh, man, I was just all afraid about doing this and that. So I sat down, and we talked about what really was going to happen. And she goes, oh, well, that makes so much more sense. Oh, I think I'll go ahead and get that done. And, we were talking about implants at that stage, but it just sort of jogged me to think about, there's so many things that the average person just doesn't really realize what's going on now, how we can do things, and the ramifications of some of the decisions you make on a day-to-day basis. And the ultimate is, I remember my grandfather years ago decided that he didn't really want to mess with the dentist anymore. So we just got all his teeth out. He says, I got dentures, now I don't have to worry about the dentist. My teeth are fixed, no problem.
That's an extreme position to take, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, but, years ago it was, I've heard that over the years, much more in my early years of practice than I have in the later years. But, it's okay, I'm going to lose them all, I'll just get dentures anyway. It's not the end of the world. And then, I can tell you, after making dentures for as many years as I've been making them, over 30 years, I can tell you, I can make an upper denture that people will think is pretty good, but if you don't put a couple of implants in or something like that, there's no such thing as a good lower denture. And I made a whole bunch of them. And
well, why is there no such thing, Steve?
As long as you don't want to eat, chew, or talk, they're great.
Oh.
So, I mean, and when you go to a denture, you lose 90% of the amount of force you can generate between your teeth.
Okay, so hopefully you're going to tell me that dentures are a thing of the past.
Well, it can be. And unfortunately, there's some people that, are stuck with that. And, and the other unfortunate part about it is because so few people are opting for dentures anymore because we have so many good choices. Dentists these days don't know how to make dentures. At least don't know how to make them well a lot of times. And they just don't have the experience. It's not their fault. It's just, if you haven't made a few hundred of the things, you don't get experience. And unfortunately, I got a lot of experience, or fortunately, I got a lot of experience in my early years working in downtown Los Angeles, where we would see a lot of denture patients. And so as a result, I learned how to at least make the thing work as good as they can. Now, you just said, we don't have to deal with that anymore. And you're right, because even if you don't have teeth, we have options now. That same seminar that I was at Thursday night, we were talking about how to put a fixed total replacement for all of your teeth on anywhere from 4 to 8 implant roots. And it's something you would never take out.
Well, Steve, let's leave a little cliffhanger out there, and that is that, you're saying the dentists today don't really know how to make good dentures, but you would think over the years they would have done that. And I'm wondering, wouldn't they have sent those out to labs to be made anyway? And if not, the alternative, which I can guess what that is, but I think that you're probably going to give us that alternative when we return from this break, right?
Of course.
That's
all about it.
That's what I thought. And we're talking to our own Dr. Stephen Tidwell, talking about tomorrow's dentistry today. We'll be right back, and when we come back, well, you know what? Listen to the commercial. You'll hear everything about him. Don't go away. Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308. for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show. And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're talking to our own Dr. Stephen Tidwell and Tomorrow's Dentistry Today. Steve, you've got the microphone.
Hey, Bob, well, you kind of left me with, the lab making a denture, and I'm kind of going like, no. They do help us out, and we work hand in hand with these guys who I have an outstanding.
That's just me not knowing, Steve.
But it takes so much. You have to go through so many steps, and if you shortcut a step, or if when it comes back it isn't exactly right, and you don't recognize what's wrong, you're still the poor lab man. He's over there, and your patient's over here. He doesn't know what he doesn't get to see him or see that. So it does take a while before you really are able to cope with all of the variables involved with making a set of dentures. But you're right. The key is let's stay out of the denture, and we have. In this, especially in Southern California, we've really embraced the idea of let's save our teeth. Because once you lose one of your non-wisdom teeth, a lot of people get their wisdom teeth out, and that's one issue, but once you lose one of your chewing teeth or smiling teeth, it's sort of a domino effect. You lose one and you don't replace that, and things change. Now you're chewing wrong. You're chewing over on the other side all the time. Well, pretty soon you lose one over there. And now we're kind of really unbalanced. And it just dominoes right on down the line until now we have so many issues that it really becomes a very difficult thing to put everything back together. So the key is, hang on to those teeth. If unfortunately something happens, you lose a tooth, replace it right away. Get that taken care of. Get an implant in there. Do what you need to do to get a tooth back in there so that your natural teeth can function the way they were meant to function.
Let me ask you a question, Steve, real quick, just to stop you right here. And, I've heard of people, I don't know if this is true or not, that, they either get into a fight or they get into an accident and they knock a tooth out and they actually grab the tooth. I've heard if they take that tooth to the dentist right away, that dentist can sometimes put that tooth back into their mouth and that it would be fine. Is that true?
Oh, yeah. I've done it myself. Had a couple of incidents where I met the patient, immediately after hours, and we've been able to reimplant a tooth. Now there's some things you need to keep that tooth wet. Water's good, milk is better, but just putting it in a cup of water, ice water, something like that, just to keep that hydrated, is outstanding. And then of course getting to the dentist immediately. Because as soon as that tooth comes out, we've got an inflammatory process going. You're swelling up. And it's not going to get any easier to put that tooth back in that socket the longer you go.
Does the nerve reattach itself to the tooth?
No, the nerve won't reattach, and most times we'll either do the root canal before we put it back in, just do it right there in your hand, or we'll get that right back in and then tell the patient we're going to get back together here in a short time and take care of that, do a root canal on that. But we've got, done quickly, and if the tooth is kept clean and wet, the chances of that being reimplanting is very good. There's patients that have had those for many, many years after an incident or an accident.
So is that similar to an implant, Steve?
I wish. I wish we could do so good with an implant. You're implanting your own tissue back into your own body. I wish we could do that. No, in many ways it's better. Unfortunately, what will happen is a lot of times as a complication is your body will actually, for whatever reason, whether there's a foreign substance on that or we're not always sure, you'll get a response, an inflammatory response where actually cells will begin to eat away the tooth. We call it external resorption. It's just that the body is actually trying to remove a foreign object because it's dead, and so it's trying to get that out of the way. And sometimes after a while, that tooth will get to a point where it's going to have to be removed and replaced.
So that leads me to the next question, and that is for those individuals that are not doing that with their own existing teeth, and they do get implants, do you have that rejection problem with the implants as well?
No, you don't. Totally you don't, because what we're using for the root for the implant is titanium, and the body in general loves titanium. There's always a few individuals who will have an allergic response. Anyone that's suspected of that, we eliminate that possibility right off by doing testing. But the bone actually will grow onto a titanium surface. Now, if you take that same surface and it's contaminated for whatever reason, when it's placed, the gum exposes opens up and exposes that titanium surface to where it can be contaminated by bacteria. Bone won't grow on it. So there is a possibility of having a problem with that. And you can get a periodontal implant disease where infection can go down that root surface, that metal root surface, and also cause a delaminating of the bone. It can actually be lost, contaminated, and whatever, get an infection. And I've seen that. It will happen very seldom. And it's just like anything else. You got to take care of them. I mean, it's like teeth. You got to brush them. You got to keep them clean. You do that, you're going to take them with you.
That's a good idea.
It is. In fact, it's such a good idea that usually with the first time I see a patient, first thing I do is I say, bring me a toothbrush and a mirror, and we go over how I want them to brush their teeth.
Well, you said something in our last show that it just really stuck in my mind, and that was, you tell your patients, don't brush your teeth, brush your tooth, and one at a time.
Each tooth.
I'm sorry?
Each tooth.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the whole point. That's the whole key to it, is too many times you're just sort of scraping over the tops of the biting surfaces on top and bottom, and, gee, Mom, yeah, I brushed them, and you spent 12.3 seconds, hey, I got her done quick this time. And what I tell my patients is start in the back on the outside, tooth by tooth, just brush them, each tooth. And, you have to feel like you're brushing each tooth individually. And you'll feel the bristles go between your teeth. And then as you work it around, you go all the way to the other side, and then you come back on the inside. And those lower front ones and the upper front ones on the inside, it's a little tough to get your toothbrush around through your ear and all that to make that work. So you put about half of the brush right over the top so that you come just, you're actually, the toothbrush is now sticking straight out of your mouth. Half of those bristles are inside and half out. And now you're using little circles to brush each tooth around on the inside.
Well, when we come back, I'd like to talk about, or have you answer this question, Steve. Everybody talks about flossing and how important it is or isn't. And I heard you say one time, well, you don't have to floss if you don't want to keep your teeth. But if you want to keep your teeth, you need to floss. And when you're flossing, are you really trying to rub really hard against your teeth and get that crud out of there and food and stuff out of there? Or are you really just trying to move some bacteria and stuff around? And what is the difference and what are the benefits of one or the other? We'll be right back with our own Dr. Stephen Tidwell and tomorrow's Dentistry Today. Don't go away. If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you. And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're talking to our own Dr. Stephen Tidwell in tomorrow's Dentistry Today. When we left, I was asking Steve about flossing. Is it important, not important? Should you do it? How should you do it? How aggressively should you do it? Steve, what do you think?
Well, I always like to use my coral analogy. When you're brushing and flossing, you're not going to eliminate all those bacteria. They're everywhere. And you can't get rid of them. You can't kill them all. Some of them we kind of need. So the key is that bacteria are in your mouth are a little like coral. If you move them around on a daily basis, you got a bunch of coral running around. You leave them alone, don't move them around, pretty soon you got Hawaii. And so
you got the coral reef, right?
The thing is to get to each surface of each tooth. And the only way you can do that is that you can brush, you can get almost everything, but you can't get in between the teeth. So all we ask is you get some floss, you get it between your teeth, and you just, with a very light motion, you're not trying to scrape away things or scrape it all off or get it all out of there. You're not going to. They're bacteria. You're not going to get everything out of there, but you're moving it. And you just want to touch each surface of each tooth. When you come in, we clean them, and we get it actually nice and smooth to facilitate that ability of moving that bacteria around, because that's the whole secret to it. People will go like, well, what kind of toothpaste should I use? And I go, I don't care. Whatever tastes good. Toothpaste isn't soap. It doesn't kill bacteria. It doesn't do anything but make your mouth taste better. We love to have fluoride in it. If you have sensitive teeth, there's sensitive toothpaste. There's special things. But for the general day-to-day thing for the average person, it doesn't matter, just as long as it's toothpaste. And personally, baking soda or just dry brushing. If you're on a long trip and you're driving out through the middle of the Nevada desert, you want to stay awake, you grab your toothbrush. Hard to go to sleep with a toothbrush in your mouth. People say, well, a water pick, will that work as a substitute for flossing? No, because you have to physically actually get that floss or brush on the surface of the tooth. You can stream water at it, and it doesn't do it. They're persistent little buggers. Now, the other part of it is, of course, sugar. Sugar is what you need to make cavities. People that can't eat sucrose, regular table sugar that's in so many things, people that are glucose intolerant, they can't eat regular sugar, they don't grow cavities. So what do we say? Do you eliminate sugar? No. It's not how much sugar you eat. It's how often you expose your teeth to the sugar. For instance, you can take a chug, a six-pack of soda in 10 minutes, brush your teeth, and you're done with it. But you take one of those, sip on it for a few hours, and now you've got a serious sugar problem that's going to create cavities. So that's another one of our misconceptions.
So it's the long-term exposure, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. It's the amount of time that you expose the teeth to that sugar. And it's funny, there's so many sneaky ways, especially these days, these coffee creamers. People are sipping on their cup of coffee on their desk, and it's got one of those little flavored creamers. Well, they're just chock full of sugar. And I've seen that turn into, a person that had no cavities into double-digit decay in an adult within a matter of months. It's crazy how fast that can happen.
So, Steve, do you have more of a tolerance to the sugars and the plaque and stuff like that when you are young as opposed to when you're old, or is it the same?
Most of us have more of a sweet tooth when we're younger. It seems to be kind of the rule of thumb. But there's no statute of limitations on that. I've seen patients that, were our age that were still growing gum line decay. And we have to really watch that because the dry mouth, saliva is a marvelous thing. But the dry mouth, cavities will grow really fast along the gum line, and in many places where a youngster who has a really active salivary system won't do that.
It's amazing. I mean, I could think of a million things here, but you know what? We've only got about 3 minutes left, and I would like you to talk about this miracle machine you've got out in your lobby. Well, I know we've talked about it a couple of times, but I am just mesmerized by this thing.
Well, I'll tell you, it's great, Bob. I've had so much fun with it. We've done, I think, 50 crowns now with my new crown making machine. It's a CEREC machine, and I am a CEREC doctor. That's CEREC. And now what we do is we do a digital impression. No more goop, no more impression material, no more temporary crowns. One appointment, 90 minutes, and we scan your tooth into the machine. We design the crown in the computer. CAD, it's CAD-CAM technology, computer-assisted design, computer-assisted milling. And then it's milled right there in my waiting room. Right, you can see and look at it there. And then we take that newly milled crown and bake it. It's called sintering in a high-temperature oven, which finishes the crystallization to make it hard and takes it from a lovely purple to tooth colors. And then that's cemented immediately. Not quite while it's hot. We do let it cool a little bit. But that's cemented immediately. You get to walk out one appointment. You're done. You've got your brand new tooth.
And no gagging with all that stuff that you used to have to put in your mouth, right?
Oh no, you don't sit there for 3 to 5 minutes with a mouthful of this gooey synthetic putty pudding in your mouth, kind of going everywhere, and especially for people that happen to have a little facial hair, spend the next 3 days trying to pull it out of it.
Yeah, I can relate to that.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. Everybody look at his picture there online. You'll know what we're talking about. But we'd love to have anybody come by. We have our new patient special, as you heard, our $39 special. And that includes x-rays, cleaning, and exam. And if you go to tidwelldentistry.net, you can see my contact information, where we're at. and both San Bernardino and Rancho Cucamonga. That's tidwelldentistry.net. Goes over our new patient specials and all kinds of fun things. You can see pictures of patients. You'll see a picture of me. So not only can you hear my voice, but you can actually see what I look like.
Well, you know what, Steve? This is. I know that I probably interrupted what you had already prepared for today's show, and then all of a sudden you started talking about these different issues, and I had a million questions come into my head. So I think I need to apologize to you for interrupting what you had already prepared.
Oh no! I love going in the direction you go. In fact, I tell my patients a lot of times, when you sit in my chair, you go brain dead. So if you have questions, write them down. I'm going to tell you the same thing, Bob. Write them down. You can ask me next time. We'll go there.
You got it, So listen, this has been a great show, Steve. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, Bob.
All right, buddy.
Congratulations on your 50th.
Thank you so very much. You know what? I have a friend that said he's been married 4 times. When he adds them all together, he still hasn't been married 50 years. Take care, my friend.
If you find the right woman, you're a lucky man, Bob.
I just got lucky. Take it easy.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay a great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show. And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. You know what? At 5:08 p.m. Pacific Time, it's currently 95 degrees here in the heart of the Empire. That's down from 99 degrees, and it's on its way to 65, thank God. You know, I can't wait for that to happen. But you know what? Before we bring David in, I need to make a special announcement, and that is we're very excited and proud here at Robert Cardoza Live to announce that our show is currently available live 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, from the following radio networks: Spreaker Radio, Blog Talk Radio, MyCast Live Radio, and countless terrestrial stations worldwide. In addition to our show can be heard live every Friday on Roar 1776 and Live 365 radio networks from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time, and an archive show on Saturday mornings from 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. Pacific Time. I'm not getting up for that, folks. If you call in, I'm not going to answer the phone. You can also catch our show live every Friday and Saturday if you want to tune into iHeartRadio, and if you've got a TV box or TiVo box, you can get it there too. All of our shows are accessible on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, and YouTube. You can download our shows free of charge from the iTunes Store. We encourage you to follow us on all of these social network medias. Currently, we're actively broadcasting in the following countries: the United States, Montenegro, the Philippines, Canada, Greece, Germany, the United Kingdom, Australia, Italy, France, Thailand, and Brazil, with more countries coming soon. We're currently developing 2 Robert Cardoza Live apps that'll allow you to download our show free of charge on iPhones and Android. This app will allow you to listen to any of our shows, either live or recorded, 24/7 worldwide, right from your computer, phone, tablet, or iPad. The easiest way, as always, is to listen to our show, is to go to our website at robertcardozalive.com. Now, he's waiting in the wings. We don't want to miss him. He's anxious. He's got stuff waiting for us. Let's get him in here, our own David Garrett.
The story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, coming to you from the bowels of the Hall of Justice, our own legal guru, David Garrett, attorney at law. Hey, David, welcome aboard. It's good to have you back. I haven't heard your voice in a while, so I'm anxious to God, there's so many things that happened yesterday and today. I can't wait to talk to you about it.
Oh, yeah. Supreme Court was a little busy yesterday.
Boy, yesterday and today.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Yeah. Well, this new system sounds pretty nice.
Oh, thank you very much. You know, not only does it sound good, I think that the audio quality is so much better. But we are hitting so many more stations and so many more countries now that it's just really, really exciting. So, and there's more climbing on almost every day. Matter of fact, I won't be able to make that announcement very much longer because it's going to be just too long. It'll take the show to announce it.
That was a lot of places.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
So, you know, we just keep growing and growing and growing. I've been loving it.
Oh, excellent. Yeah. And congratulations on the anniversary.
Oh, thank you so much. It was just, you know what, married to this lovely lady for 50 years, and it went by in the blink of an eye. It's hard to believe that I've been married to her for 50 years. And, you know, and we've known each other much longer than that. I had told her, you know, my only regret was that I hadn't met her earlier, so I could have spent more time with her. And she says, "Are you kidding me? We got together when we were 15 years old. You taught me how to drive. How much younger were you going to go out there and search?"
You can't be much younger than that.
So I had
that's neat.
Yeah.
That's really neat.
She's a wonderful lady too. So, but thank you so much for the good wishes.
Yeah.
So listen, what is your take on, gosh, there's so many things going on. First of all, the Affordable Care Act looks like if it's not here for the next 50 years, it's here for posterity. I think that that's here. Now maybe the legislators who have been obstructing this will look for ways to improve it rather than to destroy it. You know, I just don't have it in my heart to say that 30 million people are going to go without insurance, go bankrupt, or maybe die because they can't afford cancer medication. Regardless of what you think about Obamacare and the goods and the good and the bad, there's plenty of that to go around. Now it it looks like it's here to stay. But more exciting, or just as exciting as that, is the 5-4 vote today by the Supreme Court to say that same-sex marriages were legal in all 50 states, and they will not even hear this issue again. So don't bother filing another lawsuit. What do you think about that?
Well, I think it was something that was going to happen. It was just a matter of time. I mean, we had a mess out there, and the Supreme Court had to step in and straighten it out. I'll leave the decision of the moral implications to a different specialty than myself. I mean, the religious guys can figure that out. But, I think the Supreme Court had something that had to be done. You can't have a marriage that's valid in one state, not valid in the one right next door. It doesn't make a lot of sense. No, that makes no sense at all. And the other thing is, and you get caught in this quagmire of it's marriage between a man and a woman, and so you have to start thinking about, well, wait a minute, marriage is a relationship. And if the relationship, it can be between a man and a woman. If you have that kind of a relationship, you want to tie the knot and you want to become bound to each other. But that relationship can be between a man and a man, a woman and a woman. It could be between any number of things. And it just seems to me that if what you're binding is the relationship and the true feelings that people have, it's got nothing to do with sex. It's got something to do with relationships. Now, I know I'm going to catch hell for this, but that's just kind of how I feel about it. This shouldn't be a political issue. No, me personally, I kind of think that this is one of those things that where people take a moral high road or a moral low road on whichever way you look at it.
Yeah.
We'll let somebody smarter than those of us on Earth, if they're still so inclined, straighten it out. And it's like you say, it's a union, and people want to dedicate themselves in that fashion, then what's good for the goose should be good for the gander.
Absolutely. So listen, when we come back, what is it we're going to talk about? Did I blow the wind out of your sails, or do you have something specific that you wanted to talk about, or are we just going to kibitz about what's current?
Well, we can kibitz about a few things, and I thought we ought to talk about this Uber decision.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. We're talking to our own David Garrett on the law. When we come back, we're going to talk about the Uber decision. That's something that you don't want to go away from. You want to find out all about it. We'll be right back with our own David Garrett on the law after these brief messages. If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Leinberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you. And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're talking to our own David Garrett on the law. And when we left, we said we were going to talk about the Uber decision. And you know what? I'm embarrassed, David, because I've been following this gay thing. I've been following the Obamacare thing, and bring me up to date on Uber, will you?
Well, Uber's that decision that where the Uber drivers were deemed to be not independent contractors, but employees of the Uber company. And you know, it kind of draws what appears to be a fundamental shift, at least by the California Labor Commission. We'll see who follows it, between in the old theories of who's an independent contractor and who is not. It could have some pretty far-ranging effects if it, depending on what the courts do with it now. But
well, now is this in a tax court for federal issue, or is it in a state court?
It's in the state labor courts.
Now,
let me say it a different way. It was decided in the Labor Commission, and now it's being appealed through the state courts.
Because, you know, the IRS put out, there's actually a 19-point directive that the federal government put out with regard to what qualifies you to be an independent contractor, and I wish I had it right in front of me. I'm going by memory here, but it had to deal with: do they provide you a place to work? Do they provide you with a telephone? Do they provide you, or do they dictate to you what hours you're going to work? Do they dictate the fees? And it goes on and on and on like that. And my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong here, is that Uber, you simply check in on the computer. You just open up your line, and they tell you where the next ride is available. You decide when you're going to work, when you're not going to work. You use your own vehicle, and you decide where you're going to work. And then Uber just provides you with the people that needs rides, right? So without going into the other, 17 issues, it would appear to me that at least they pass mustard on the federal scale of what an independent contractor is. So, what is the issue here? Is it really the taxi unions that are saying, "Wait a minute, these guys don't have to get the same licenses; they don't have to get the same clearances"? Is it a political football going on here, or is it really a legal issue?
Well, I think it's in a very broad context. I think it's a political issue, to where, the Labor Commission or labor in general wants to have as many defined employees, as possible. I think that's kind of independent of the Uber decision. I think in, like you mentioned, the tax code, California code, I read the thing and I'm going, geez, these guys sound like independent contractors to me. When I distilled all those, those various tests out, they come up with a litany of items and things you want to check out. But it always seemed to me that the fundamental idea was, does the employer exert a sufficient amount of control over the activities of the independent contractor or employee?
Which is the test. Yeah, that is the test.
Yeah, it's just, it kind of, they tried to define it with their rules, but I don't know how good of a job they did with it. So, but this Uber thing kind of goes in a different manner, and what happened here was one of these Uber drivers went out and is doing their business, and then wants to get reimbursed for their gas and for some tolls they had to pay, and also for they asked for wage and hour stuff, overtime, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
The wage and hour stuff, the commissioner just said, well, you didn't bring enough evidence to prove it, but required Uber to reimburse them for the gas and stuff of the vehicle at the IRS rate, I think, was 56 cents a mile.
So what I don't understand is if they came on understanding or believing that they were independent contractors, what made them think they had the right to do anything with Uber other than to say, hey, if you don't do this, these are the terms that I'll work under. I'm an independent contractor, and if you don't meet those terms, I'm not going to work for you.
Well, it's just somebody saw a way, hey, I'll try this, see if I get more money.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only way I can look at it, but, it's going to, if this shift continues, it's going to have a very profound impact on this definition of who's an independent contractor and who's not.
Well, the federal government already makes it difficult to be an independent contractor, and the IRS would prefer that you are not an independent contractor. They want to make sure that there is somebody that's responsible for withholding all those taxes, including the trust fund taxes.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, I mean, at that political level, it's just I hate to say it, but it's kind of a money grab.
Oh, yeah.
That's really the bottom line, in my opinion, but I don't know.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it is a money grab. That's exactly what it is. It's a political football, and certainly I think that where I have a quandary going on here is that I don't understand why this is a state labor board fight as opposed to a federal labor board fight, because the independent contractor status is generally supersedes everything if it comes under the federal statutes.
Yeah, but the reason it got to the state level is because the claim for reimbursement was based on the state labor code.
Well, we'll talk some more.
How we get there.
Well, we'll talk some more about this, David, when we come back from this commercial break. Don't go away. We'll be right back with David Garrett on the law. Boy, I don't know what these segments sure seem awful short to me, but I'm watching a clock. It's got to be right. We'll be right back with David Garrett. Don't go away. Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make the interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay a great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show. And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're talking to our own David Garrett on the law. Hey, David, you've got the microphone.
Yeah. Well, let me run through a few things in this Uber thing. This is kind of what they found, when you're talking about the elements of control. They find that they're independent vehicle drivers to facilitate private, and all Uber does is facilitate private transaction. It has no control over the driver's hours. They're not required to complete a minimum number of trips other than they can't go completely off the radar for 100 or for 180 days. They can use their own vehicle. They're responsible for maintaining and fueling their own vehicles, and they can make a living from as many places as they want to. So, most people drive Uber on the side. The only real thing that Uber required of as far as the vehicle and the drivers, is you use this application to let you know when somebody wants to be picked up. You have to maintain insurance. Your car can't be more than 10 years old. And you got to maintain a certain level of customer satisfaction. To me, that sounds like the driver does pretty much whatever they want. They can say, no, I'm not going to do it at any one point in time.
Yeah, sounds independent to me.
Yeah. But the funny thing is that this was also previously once before our own Labor Commission in 2012. And at that point in time, the Labor Commissioner hearing it said, no, Uber's just a technology company. They're not an employer of these drivers they have out there. So where this gets a little bit scary is the commissioner that heard this one acknowledges that Uber had very little control over the activities of the driver, and argues that it's not necessary to have complete control, but just a necessary control, whatever that distinction happens to be. And there's cases that give lists you check off to see if you got it or not. But then she goes on to conclude that The hearing officer held that by obtaining the passengers in need of ride services, the drivers and providing the drivers to conduct the service, Uber retained all necessary control. This was integral to Uber's business because Uber was in the business to provide transportation services to passengers, and the driver did the actual transportation. So she goes down this path of, and there's some case law that's, just clear as mud out there on this issue as to whether or not the service is integral to the business. And there's kind of a push towards that. My thoughts on that, quite candidly, is if the activities of an independent contractor are not integral to your business, you're not going to be using them to begin with.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, why would you?
Yeah, I don't need that. It's not part of my business. That's the part that, to me, gets a little bit scary, and I hope we get some clarification out of the, out of the court system that gets us back into where the primary focus is control, which I think is where it rightfully belongs.
So I wonder why that is so different than, you ever heard of, there's a company out there called Hollywood Delivery, and they're a big, big company, but they don't use their own trucks, they don't use their own drivers. They contract with independent contractors who provide the trucks and the drivers and all the rest of that stuff, and the IRS has determined that they are independent contractors. I mean, they run, they pay for their own gas and they maintain their own trucks. They do all those things. But this Hollywood Delivery actually provides them with the destinations to go to pick up a load and to drop off loads and things like that. Why is that any different than what Uber is doing with these drivers?
I don't see the distinction. I mean, what you just described there is so prevalent in the trucking industry that, virtually any of these independent contractors do that. It's that Hollywood company basically acts as a load broker.
Yeah.
They just tell them, here it is, you can come do it. You take it at this time and you get it there by that time.
And we don't care how you do it.
Yeah. So I don't see the control there. The scary downside about stuff like this, particularly for Uber, is if they're deemed to be an employee, then the argument is, well, wage and hour issues arise.
Yeah.
And Uber's saying, you could drive all day long for all we care. If you're free and want to drive and earn money, go ahead and do it. They don't even have the ability under their contract to say, you can't work more than 8 hours a day or 40 hours a week.
Right, and all they're saying is if you want to use our services, turn our app on. We'll provide you with places, but you decide what hours you work, when you work, where you work. I just don't get it.
No. So this whole thing kind of just throws an element of gray and difficulty. I mean, a lot of people see this as being isolated to these technology companies like Uber and some of the other drive sharing, but like you, I can see the same rationale applying to traditional trucking things and probably any other business out there that uses independent contractors.
Yeah, this is going to be a real mess, because if they don't fall into the logistical part of what this is with Uber, this is going to open up. This is going to be a heyday for somebody with all kinds of industries.
Yeah, I mean this is one comment here. BESIC may in part establish a growing trend in which the independent contractor status is based more on companies' involvement in business operations and the existence of economic codependence, more so than targeting the assertions of control as in the past. Well, the answer to those issues, in honesty, my way I look at it, is if you don't have those things, you're never going to be hiring that independent contractor.
Yep, that's for sure. That's for sure. Well,
Makes sense.
David, unfortunately, as always, we have just flown by the time here. This was actually, we should talk about this more again next week. I think this is actually, well, maybe it's just me that I find this interesting, but I think that it lends itself to so many other areas. We'll see what transpires during the week, but I think this is something we could revisit again.
Oh, that sounds good. Yeah, I'll hang on to it, and we can talk a little bit more about it next week. That'd be good.
Sounds great. Hey, David, in the meantime, have a wonderful weekend. Catch lots of fish, because I know you're going fishing, and stay safe, will you?
I will, and you have a great weekend too, Bob.
Thank you. Great show, and thank you for the words that you said about my marriage. I appreciate it.
Oh, definitely. Have a good weekend there, Bob.
You too. Take care.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 5:42 p.m. Pacific time. It is currently 95 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire. That's down from 99 degrees in sunny Southern California. Well, you know what today is, right? You bet you know what today is. It's somebody's birthday. And you know what? This man was born in 1961, an American cyclist and three-time winner of the Tour de France. We're saying happy birthday to Greg LeMond. And you know what? Here's a guy that was born in 1974, a baseball player whose career began at age 20 with the New York Yankees. He is a 9-time All-Star shortstop, Derek Jeter. And then finally, born in 1980, football player with NFL's Atlanta Falcons, though suspended play due to his participation in a dogfighting ring. It is his birthday today. Happy birthday, Michael Vick. So, what happened today in history? Well, I can tell you that in 1284, the legendary Pied Piper leads 130 youths out of Hamelin, Germany. And in 1934, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt signs the Federal Credit Union Act, which establishes credit unions in our country. And then finally, in 1975, Indira Gandhi establishes emergency rule in India. Well, you know what? Our quote for today comes from Isaac Newton. And Isaac says, "Tact is the knack of making a point without making an enemy." Wow. Now, is that profound or not? Well, how about the secret daily teachings for your life? Today, the secret is, well, you know, I always start this off by saying this is all about a positive mental attitude. If you have a positive mental attitude, good things are going to happen in your life because it just creates this electricity. And that's what this secret's all about. And today's secret is, no matter what you have manifested in regards to your body, you can change it, inside and out. Start thinking happy thoughts and start being happy. Happiness is a feeling, state of being. You have your finger on the press and your finger on the feeling happy button. Press it now and keep your finger pressed down on it very firmly, no matter what has manifested itself. It's, you know, I kind of screwed that up a little bit, but I want to tell you, it is all about a positive mental attitude. Don't ever forget that. Now, you can be positive that you're going to get screwed, but the truth is if you're positive you're going to win, you will. Remember that the most successful people never count how many times they get knocked down. It's how many times they get back up. Well, let's talk about that Harvard business tip of the day. And the management tip today is challenge yourself even during downtime. You know, there's no question that we're at greater risk of burnout today than we were 10 years ago. One way to recharge is to schedule restorative experiences that you look forward to. Making plans to play tennis with a friend or cook a meal with your spouse compels you to focus on an approach goal, doing something pleasurable, instead of an avoidance goal, not checking email. Approach goals are often easier and more enjoyable to achieve. Studies have indicated that doing an activity you find interesting, even if it's taxing, is better for you than simply relaxing. Sure, it's appealing to laze on your couch with a tub of popcorn and Netflix, but try to engage in something more challenging, like a crossword or game of chess. Even though it's difficult, it will give you more energy. What you do with your downtime really does matter. Think about it. Well, it's time for those interesting but useless facts. You know, we deal with this all the time. I'm thrilled with it. The truth is at first I was skeptical about this segment, and the more I go through it, the more interesting it is. It's got some ridiculous stuff there, and you wonder why how some of these people can even make a living doing it, getting all this information. But you know, some of it is kind of weird and odd and interesting. Try this one on. Did you know the sun's average period of rotation is 27 days. Or did you even know the sun rotated? Yeah, it does. It doesn't just sit there. Did you know that Virginia Woolf wrote all of her books standing up? There you go. Here's one for you. The Old English word for sneeze is neosan. I don't even know why that's important. How about this? Electrical stimulation of certain areas of the brain has been proven to revive long-lost memories. Boy, I could try that. I don't know that I want to, but I could use that if they could guarantee me it wasn't going to be painful. I forgot yesterday. I forgot this morning. Did you know that Mary Stuart became Queen of Scotland when she was only 6 days old? Wow. Think of that one. How about this? The striped billiard balls weigh 0.1 ounces, or so more than the solid. Anyway, I think what they're saying is stripes weigh more than the solid balls do. but not by enough that it makes any difference, I don't think. Because heat expands the metal, the Eiffel Tower always leans away from the sun. Now, that's a scary thought. I've been on it a number of times. I never thought in terms of it leaning because of the way the metal expands because the sun is shining on it. Think about it. That's kind of scary. If you're at the top of that thing, that's up high. How about this? All the coal, oil, gas, and wood on Earth would only keep the sun burning for a few days. There's a scary thought. And finally, in 1950, UNIVAC became the first computer to tabulate the United States Census. And with that, my friends, we are going to go on a commercial break. When we come back, I'm going to deal with your emails. And the first one up is from Samantha Salas from Athens, Tennessee, asking about the statute of limitations. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The interview starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studio. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 5:52 p.m. Pacific Time. Currently 95 degrees, down from 99 degrees, on its way to 64 in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, it's that time. We're going to answer your emails. I want to remind you that, we do the best we can, and the information you send us sometimes is just a little sketchy, but we give you good information based on what you sent us. But we always encourage you to contact a licensed professional. They're going to bring you in, do an interview. They're going to gather all the necessary data and give you a good, comprehensive answer to your questions. That's what it really takes. The nice part about it is the requirement of their license is that they have errors and omissions insurance, which means if they make a mistake in what they tell you, they're liable for it. They get to pay the piper. That should allow you to sleep well at night, not worry about registered letters or people tapping you on the shoulder or knocking on your door. Now, our very first email today comes from Samantha Salaz from Athens, Tennessee, asking about the statute of limitations. And she writes, when does the 3-year statute of limitations start on my tax return so it will be safe from an audit? Well, Samantha, the IRS generally has 3 years to audit a tax return starting from the later of its original due date or the date on which it was actually filed. So, if you file your return before April the 15th, the 3-year period starts on April the 15th. While if you file later, it starts on your return's actual filing date. Now, be careful. The limitation period is 6 years if your return understates income by more than 25%, and there is no limitation period if you commit fraud on your return or don't file at all. So keep that in mind. Next email is from Danielle Sharif from Burton, Michigan, asking about donated shares. And she says, years ago, a friend donated shares of his private corporation to charity, claimed a deduction for their value, and had the charity redeem them for cash from the company. So he got a deduction for the stock that he donated. Now, I'm in a position to do the same thing. Is it still legal? Well, Danielle, yes, it is. This is legal if the redemption is voluntary with the charity and not required by a pre-existing agreement. That is, the charity must have the legal right to keep the shares, although in practice it probably is going to want the cash obtained from redeeming them. But tax-wise, the deal is not as favorable as it once was. Lower personal tax rates mean that charity deduction saves less tax. In today's low 15% capital gains tax rate offers more after-tax cash from selling the shares. But this is still a valid way to help a charity if that's the way you want to do it. Next email comes from Cade Smith from Palos Verdes, California, asking about a vacant rental. And writes, I own a house that I rent out. A family that had rented it moved out before their lease was actually up. I couldn't rent the house quickly, so it was vacant for several months. Can I deduct my lost rental income? Well, Cade, unfortunately, the answer to your question is no, you can't do that. You have no deductible loss for tax purposes since you received no rental income for several months. You simply report zero rent in the income for that period. But that lack of income, combined with your normal expenses of maintaining the property, may or may not produce a deductible loss from your rental activity. Also, if you believe that you were wronged by your tenant's failure to pay you the rent owed to you under their lease, you can sue them for it under the terms of the lease in your local court system. Now, any award that you receive will be taxable income to you, so kind of keep that in mind. Next email comes from Samuel Sexton from Union City, New Jersey, asking about IRA contributions, and he writes, can I contribute stocks that I own to my IRA? If not, can I contribute cash to my IRA and then have it buy the stocks from me? Well, Samuel, that's a double no. It's no and no. All IRA contributions must be made in cash. The only way that an IRA can receive non-cash assets through a transfer is through a transfer from a retirement account. Now, here's an example. If an employer-sponsored 401k plan account holds stock shares, they can be transferred to that IRA. In addition, an IRA may be disqualified and lose its tax-favored status if it engages in any of a list of prohibited transactions. Now, prominent among these is any sale, exchange, or lease with its owner or a member of its owner's immediate family. That's a spouse, ancestor, lineal descendant. Now, for more details on this, go to IRS Publication 590. That's Individual Retirement Arrangements, and you'll be able to get all the answers to your questions right from there. And you'll be glad you you got that information because it's going to be important to you. Guaranteed important to you. Now, I want to thank you for listening to Robert Cardoza Live at the intersection of business and politics. Robert Cardoza Live broadcasts on Spreaker Radio, Blog Talk Radio, MyCast Live Radio, and countless terrestrial stations worldwide every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. I also broadcast on Roar 1776 Radio and on Live 365 Radio every Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, and YouTube, where you can listen to all of my shows 24/7. Go to my website at www.robertcardozalive.com and email me at robertcardozalive@gmail.com. That's where I get the emails that I deal with here on the show. On my next show, my expert contributor is going to be John Hanson, that little old wine drinker, talking about food and wine. My special guest is John Kurth, the Wizard of Words, talking about success in business through scripting. I encourage you to tell all of your friends about my show here on the RLC Broadcasting Network.
That's our show for today. Beginning today, treat everyone you meet as if they were going to be dead by midnight. Extend them all the care, kindness, and understanding that you can muster. Your life will never be the same again. So many of our dreams at first seem impossible, then they seem improbable, and then, when we summon the will, they soon become inevitable. You know the real secret of happiness is to make others believe that they're the cause of it. Robert Cardoza Live is brought to you by blogtalkradio.com every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Now, go out and make it a great day. Your host has been Robert Cardoza, the technical advisor, Matchstick Digital, and your executive producer, also Robert Cardoza.
Okay, everybody, that's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed today's show as much as I enjoyed producing it for you. Don't forget to join us on our next show at 4 p.m. Pacific Time for another installment of Robert Cardoza Live on the Street at the intersection of business and politics. And in the meantime, don't forget to stay happy, be good, stay safe. And you know what? Be good to your friends. Good night, everybody.